Hello everybody, welcome to Haiku Talk. I'm your host, Ben Ga, your friendly neighborhood haiku poet. And today we're going to be taking a look at a piece from the latest issue of Frogpond from Helen Ogden with the first line of Long Distance Call. Now this is a Senryu, but as we know, the same rules apply. So with that, go on ahead, sit back, grab yourself a tasty beverage, and let's Senryu. Hello, welcome back. Thank you all for tuning in. It's good to be with you for another episode of Haiku Talk. And in this case, we are looking at a Senryu. And Senryu is like haiku's kind of crazy cousin. Haiku deals with nature at large, and Senryu deals with human nature. And this poem is all about human nature, speaks to us and our humanity pretty well. And let's get to the poem, shall we? This is from Helen Ogden, again from the latest issue of Frogpond. And it goes like this. Long distance call, closing my eyes to better see her. Long distance call, closing my eyes to better see her. It's a good piece. Good human piece. So this poem just makes me smile. Makes me pause because it with all of the technology and stuff that we have today, and with Zoom calls and FaceTime and all of this stuff, we generally we have the capability to actually see people that we're talking with. But that wasn't always the case. And I think there are definitely people of a certain age that even still probably prefer to talk to people this way on the phone, and that's to not actually look at them, but actually just listen to their voice. And the idea of closing your eyes to better see them, is just a delightful notion. This idea that you're talking to somebody from far away, likely haven't seen them in a while, hence the long-distance phone call. And to better visualize them, to better have them present with you, you close your eyes and you can see them better. Now this poem just rings true to me on many, many levels. It's just the idea that you can that people live in you, and you can feel closer to them by actually closing your eyes when you listen to their voice. And almost like a poem, like when you're reading a poem, you reach into your own memory, your own database of images for that person, and you build that picture of who they are. And I also think, this works well if you have a voicemail on your phone as well, particularly perhaps a voicemail of somebody that's no longer present. I lost my mom last year, and it makes me think of, I have some voicemails on my phone of her that I haven't deleted. And just, turning that on, listening to that voice, it's truly a long-distance phone call at this point, and seeing her through my memories as I listen to that voice, that's a powerful thing. It's a powerful moment, a powerful poem, and one that just really makes me stop and sit with it, I think we've all had these experiences. and especially, like I said, if you're a person of a certain age, when before cell phones, when a long distance call was truly a long distance call, and time meant money, and those things were so precious to get those calls. Hopefully, they were precious and not an emergency. Nothing in this poem gives you the impression that it's an emergency call. It seems like it definitely is a call amongst people that care deeply about one another. What that relationship is, it's for us as readers to figure out, to piece together. But it's definitely one that is definitely implied. So let's take a look at this poem and see how it's constructed and go line by line, see how it works. So it does follow the fragment and phrase format, the first line being the fragment of long distance call, and the phrase being closing my eyes to better see her. So again, those are the two things that are juxtaposed together that make the poem work. And it's that break in between that sets up the kind of the surprise, that sets up the context, that makes these things come together and come alive. And I do think that that phrase does build nicely. Closing my eyes to better see her has a nice twist and a surprise in it by itself, which is really, really good. So line by line, we start with that first line of long distance call, and it's a line that does exactly what first lines are supposed to do. Pique your interest, engage your imagination, make you want to continue to read to the rest of the poem. These verses are short. Haiku, Senryu are short. So every line means something. Every line has to pack a punch. Every line has to be integral into pulling that reader, engaging them, and pulling them into the moment that's being captured here. So long distance call, I mean, immediately it engages your mind with a relationship, with who is on this call. Why would you have a long distance call? What is the purpose of the long distance call? Because a long distance call it's purposeful. You don't make a long distance call without a reason. It's not just for daily chitter chatter. It's a purposeful call of some sort. And so I'm engaged. What happens next? Now the second line, closing my eyes, is kind of mysterious. Because when you think of a long distance call and then you're closing your eyes, you're hearing and then you're seeing. So they're two senses that don't generally go together per se. Now, I guess that, like I said before, in today's world, you have the potential to have FaceTime and all of this stuff. But it didn't specify that it's a online call or a video call. It just says long distance call. And so with that first line and then closing my eyes, kind of heightens the tension a little bit. Because if you're taking a long distance call and then the next thought is, you're closing your eyes, well, that could mean a couple of things, and it's usually kind of a serious thing. I initially go to, what's happened? Why am I, you get the call and you're like, oh boy. You close your eyes, you're preparing yourself for what you're about to hear. And so I am compelled to read on to line 3, and in this case, line 3 is, to better see her. To better see her. And that is, on one hand, a relief, because now I know that this, in my mind, it's not necessarily a call of big worry or concern that something bad has happened. Instead, I'm getting that this is a call, at least for me, that is a connection call, a call with somebody I haven't heard from for a while, that I haven't seen in a while. I mean, it could be speaking to a parent, could be speaking to a child, could be speaking to a friend that you haven't seen in a really, really long time, or somebody that's traveling abroad, that wants to say hi, perhaps visiting with family overseas or something, who knows. But it's more of a happy occasion. So much so that you want to close your eyes so that you can better picture this person that you're talking to, better visualize them, better hold them. It helps hold their attention as you're listening to them on the phone. Perhaps you're visualizing where they are. Perhaps you're visualizing, not just where they are, but, I don't know. It's just nice. And so that little twist at the end, that relief of it not being a bad call, and this being somebody that you want to talk to, this her is somebody that you miss, somebody that you want to keep in mind, somebody that you want to really, really relish this conversation that you're having. It's just good. It's good. And just a delightful poem, a delightful moment. You imagine that this phone call, after you hang up the receiver, push end on the button on your phone, I imagine the feeling that you're left with. The poem ends with the call itself, but then we as readers can go on after the call and imagine how we might be feeling. I know if I talk to a friend that I haven't talked to for a really long time, especially far away, it's quite a lift. It gives you quite a lift. You got a lot of good memories to think about, to conjure up. You think about the last time that you saw that person. You think about crazy stuff you've done. You think about, you kind of revisit parts of yourself that you might not have thought about for a while, because that's what friends and people that are close to us do, especially those that are far away, that we don't talk to very often. Sometimes parts of ourself, might go dormant when they're not around and get perked up and livened up after you have that conversation with them, after they're in your life again. So this, all in all, it's just a delightful poem. Really, really nice Senryu. Very positive and happy. And, those are things that we need. Positive and happy poems. And that's about it. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Haiku Talk. It's good to be with you again. As always, if you've liked the episode, please click a thumbs up and mark it that you liked it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, think about doing so. And if you've liked and subscribed, think about ringing the bell to get notified when new episodes appear. Until next time, may everyone get a nice long distance phone call and have a happy day.